Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. Today I found another Napoleon game, and this one is actually rather interesting. So it's Napoleon Bonaparte against a General Bertrand. I believe he was one of the generals in his army who fought alongside him in the Napoleonic Wars and the French Revolutionary Wars. So there's some debate on chessgames.com as to whether this is a real game that they played, or as someone in the past just simply attributed it to Napoleon to make him seem like a good chess player. It is a rather interesting idea to do this. I guess it would make him seem like a great strategic mind, which he probably was, but chess is a different matter after all. It's just a game. But yeah, this game was actually quite mind-blowing. So we'll go through it. So first up, Napoleon was playing with white, General Bertrand with black. Napoleon played one knight to f3. Black played knight to c6, and e4, e5 is played, and we get actually a Scotch opening with Napoleon playing d4. Now you may all be familiar with this, because if black takes on d4, white can take on d4 and black can play bishop to c5, hitting the knight twice. Once the knight takes on c6, black can play queen to f6, and this threatens mates on f2 and also threatens to win back the knight on c6. And as you recall, if white plays c3, black can play queen takes f2, and this is a game between XQC and Moist Critical. So back to the game. Even 200 years ago, they were playing better than some streamers. So black played knight takes d4 in this situation, and white retook knight takes d4, black took on d4. And weirdly enough, white didn't capture back the pawn, could have taken on d4. Instead, Napoleon sort of sacrifices, makes it a gambit, plays bishop to c4 instead, and black protects their pawn with bishop to c5. However, this move is actually a mistake, because now white can play this interesting variation. Bishop takes f7, king takes f7, and they have queen h5 at the end of it. Check, and also we'll pick up the bishop. So let's say g6, queen takes c5, and white's got a tremendous position. They're going to win back the pawn on d4, and will be a pawn up, and black's position is completely destroyed. So bishop c5 was actually a terrible move. Napoleon, though, didn't see bishop takes f7. Instead, he played c3, and he's made this definitely into a gambit now, because what he wants is black to take this off and gain rapid development with knight takes c3. However, black didn't want to take. Instead, he played queen to e7, preparing to play queen takes e4 with check. How can Napoleon avoid this? Well, he just simply castled kingside in this position, because if queen takes e4, white has rook to e1, they'll pick up the queen, and it's game over for black. Black's too good for this though, so after castles, instead of taking the pawn like an amateur, he played queen to e5. Bit of a weird move as well. I'm not actually too sure why you would move your queen there, because now Napoleon just attacks it with f4. f4 is an interesting move, so it hits the queen, but also opens up lines against the white king, and black now can just take a free pawn with check. So plays d takes c3, the bishop's checking the king, forcing white to move it away. So king h1 from Napoleon, and we've got a very double-edged position here. It's quite crazy, because Bertrand goes in for a rather dubious line. Makes it very exciting anyway. He plays c takes b2. So the queen's protecting the pawn. The pawn's attacking the rook and also the bishop. But white's also attacking the queen on e5, and also this bishop and this rook eye up the f7 pawn. It's rather interesting. The simplest line here would actually be if white had played f takes queen, because if black plays pawn takes rook, getting a queen, white just wins with this move. Queen to d5, threatens to take on c5, and also threatens to take on f7. Of course, black can win back the knights on b1, but the trick is queen takes f7 check, king to d8, suddenly a discovered attack, bishop to g5 with check, and the rook will pick up the queen. So white actually missed the best idea here. Instead, Napoleon played an interesting line. Played bishop takes f7 with check. A very interesting move. The point is, if king takes the bishop, then comes f takes e5 with check, and white will pick up the pawn on b2 afterwards. General Bertrand now played king to d8, and this is given by the evaluation bar on Stockfish that black is winning this position. So white takes on e5, black took on a1 and got another queen, and white did play the best move in this position, bishop takes g8. Black has to be careful though, because if rook takes g8 in this position, suddenly the position shifts in white's favour. They have queen d5. Hits the bishop, hits the rook. If the rook moves to e8, then just queen takes c5, and that's an easy win. Again, because if black takes the knight, it's bishop g5, but actually this leads to checkmate. After queen takes c5 in this position, bishop g5 is a massive threat, so black has to play h6 to guard it. But even so, after this move, just knight c3, and the threats of bishop g5 is still coming. There's nothing black can do to stop it. So in this position, after bishop takes g8, to be fair to black, he played one of the best moves, which was bishop back to e7 to stop any checks on g5. Napoleon now played queen to b3. This move protects the knight on b1, also protects his bishop on g8. A double-purpose move. Now, the best move for black here would actually just been to take another pawn with queen takes e5. Get your queen out of this precarious position in the corner of the board. And if we look at it, black is a piece down, but black also has 3 pawns extra, but also has an exchange up. He's got an extra rook for the knight. So this is just tremendously good for black. But yes, black does have to navigate a few moves. For instance, bishop to f4. Black has to play queen to h5 in this position to hold the advantage. But still, this is very good for black. In the game though, someone posted this move and said it's probably the worst chess move they've ever seen. It's a bit harsh, but it's not a very good move that black played next. They played the dubious a5. Look at how the bar just swings up. What does a5 actually accomplish in this position? It doesn't do anything. Maybe black wanted to get their rook out into the position. However, there's now actually a mate in 5. Pause the video if you want to try and find it. It's actually quite a good one. I would recommend you do so. But Napoleon did find it. He played the move rook f8 with check. Forcing move is bishop takes f8. And now comes one of the last pieces, bishop g5 with check. If the king comes to e8, then queen to f7 will be checkmate. So bishop e7 is forced. White then takes on e7. The king is forced to take. And now comes queen to f7. The king is trapped, has to retreat back to d8. And Napoleon finishes with queen to f8, which is checkmate, and he defeats one of his generals. I think you'll all agree that was quite an entertaining and interesting game, played over 200 years ago. If you did enjoy this video, it's not expected, but maybe drop a like, a comment, or even subscribe to the channel, because I'll be posting more chess videos soon to help you improve your chess.